What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube? You already know what it is. I'm back. And it's another story time with none other than your boy, Hot Boy Turk. And y'all already know, man, the auto thuggography of Turk. You could go get this on Lulu.com. You could get it on TurkGotMoneyNow.com. You could get it directly from me. You feel me? Follow me on Instagram, Original Hot Boy Turk. DM me, man. I'ma answer my DM if it about some money. You feel me? $40, you get a signed autograph copy of it, man. I got you. You get the hardback. You get the what they call that? The audio, not the audio book, but the where you can get it on your phone, whatever they call that, the ebook, or you could get the soft paperback. However you want it. I got you. Audio book coming soon. Also, my documentary 52 Bullets. You know, my story is like a three-part story. The book, the documentary, and the movie, which is called Reckless. Shout out to all the people who have already got my book. You know what I'm saying? I sold 20,000 of these books in the pandemic, man, like 2 years ago. You feel me? And I ain't sell nothing like that since. You know, people don't read like that when they outside, but when they was inside, everybody wanted some of this. So now I got to do these different ways to get this book out. And you know what I'm saying? It's always good, you know, trying different formats, being creative, guerrilla marketing, and it's still spreading. So I started this thing called Story Time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my people on YouTube right now. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe, you know. And let's get into it, man. In the day, we in Magnolia Projects. You feel me? Trust only movement. Life happens at the level of events, not of words. Trust movement. My mama Noonie had given birth to my brother Travis, and it seemed as if she and her sisters had kicked off a mini baby having marathon. Noonie seemed to follow right behind Auntie Deborah with a baby. After Deborah had Bookie, a year later Noonie had me. 2 years after, Deborah had my cousin Buff, which was on the same day I was celebrating my second birthday. Mama had my brother Travis after that. Buff and Travis were close like Bookie and me. Then their baby sister, my auntie Kim, joined the baby race and gave birth to a baby boy, my cousin Mo. Grandma Evelyn's three-bedroom apartment was now filled to capacity and resembled a nursery instead of an apartment in the mouth. Therefore, the inevitable solution for the overcrowded apartment was for some family members to begin moving out. Auntie Deborah was the first to move to the Calio projects with Buff Daddy. You know what? It's crazy how I know y'all been watching YouTube and how the Magnolia is entertaining the Calio entertaining the Magnolia and the Mouth, and you know, dudes are telling their war stories. You feel me? And all that is cool, you know. Whoa, did we get down, but to a certain extent, you feel me? I just can't get down with certain conversations. You feel me? Tell the story, but avoid new indictments. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling my story, man. But I used to live in these projects, and to make it out, that's gangster to me. You feel me? Anybody who made it out of the trenches, survived the trenches, I applaud you for that. You know? And if you really, really have changed your life, it's going to show in your actions, man. You feel me? So, with that being said, here's my story. Auntie Deborah was the first to move to the Calio projects with Buff Daddy, LB, but she left Booker to stay with my grandma. We bounced next. Mom and daddy gathered their things. And like a real functional family, we moved into our 2-bedroom apartment at 3205 South Robinson Street inside the Magnolia Projects, aka the Noya. Man, I can still remember my old phone number. It was 504-899-1931. Immediately, Mama hit it off with one of our neighbors, Miss Barbara, who was real sanctified and had a badass daughter named Valencia, who was a little too old for me. At that time, the Noya seemed to be jumping with way more energy and excitement than the mouth. Maybe I felt that way because I was now living in the Noya. I attended Thomas LaFawn Elementary School, which was located right across the street from our apartment. I can remember my first day of school like it was yesterday because I was mad as hell that my daddy couldn't be there. He was one of the head chefs at the Hilton Hotel, and his work hours conflicted with my first day of school. My kindergarten class was where I eventually met my homeboys Bruce and Wernell, aka Wern. I remember when Wern got hit by a car and finally returned to school. Everybody was all around him whispering and purring like he was famous or something. His grandma, Miss Glow, used to always bring treats to school for us. Hey, 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 hey! Shut my door, man, and get from right here. His grandmother, Miss Glow, used to always bring treats to school for us. Bruce, on the other hand, before we became friends, used to have a look on his face like he could beat up the whole world. And keeping it 10 times 100, I wasn't trying to get on his bad side. But it was his cute ass cousin, LaQuivia, aka Kiwi. Get from by my door! I'm not gonna say it no more, man. My bad, y'all. But it was his cute ass cousin, LaQuivia, aka Kiwi, who had my undivided attention. We were boyfriend and girlfriend from kindergarten all the way up until 5th grade. It's crazy how I can remember these stories, man. But when you in prison and you humbled yourself throughout the years and you reflecting and you just going back, there's a whole lot of stuff you remember. And remind you that when I was writing my book, I was writing it with a dude who was writing a book about T.I. called In Jail with a Rapper. I told him to start writing that book and put that to the back burner. Because he was, about to reveal some things he say he knew about Tip and his case and everything. But that wasn't my business. And, at the time, like I say, Tip had sent me like $5,000. So I was like, man, bro, fuck that book, man. Let's work on my book. And me and the homies started working on my book. So I was kind of skeptical, like even talking to him a little bit until we really start vibing. And I ain't give him too much. I saved stuff for, the movie, which me and him wound up writing as well. I still held a little back in my documentary. So my second book, now that I'm comfortable, is going to be even more in it. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you call being in love at that age, I was fully in it. I would give her all my little lunch money that my mama would send me to school with. Kiva and I were both pretty smart throughout our elementary school year. We always made the principal honor roll, and we attended the Superintendent's Award ceremony every year at the Lakefront Arena and racked up trophies and certificates in recognition of our performance. I played in the band and Kiwi was a cheerleader. We also participated in the Christmas and Martin Luther King Jr. programs that were a pretty big deal at Thomas LaFawn. When we were at home, we used to talk to each other on the phone until we would fall asleep, and our mothers would bust us and make us hang up. Back then, Keeve and I were the perfect little couple, and we are still cool to this very day. With the time I've been given to clear my mind and reflect, it was crazy how Uptown projects all had a section that was considered bad and another section associated with suburban style living. In the Mouth, it was actually split into two halves. the good side and the bad side. In Callio, the two sides were front of town and back of town. And Anolia called their two sides the new side and the old side. Both of my grandmothers talked about the bad side of all projects as if the residents were on some remote location in another country that the devil himself roamed daily. And if there was any truth to their claim, then my Uncle Kelvin, Black Boy, must have been the devil's right-hand man. Black Boy roamed the bad side of the mouth religiously, slinging rocks all night, then returning to Grandma Bertha's on the good side only to sleep. He used to dress his ass off and had some of the flyest clothes that were out there. I was way too young to wear his clothes, but that didn't stop me from trying to put them on. Nah, you young. Your uncle, he a dope boy, selling dope back in the days. You want to try his clothes on. You idolize him. I used to idolize my uncle. As I get more deep in the story, y'all see where I got a lot of my ways from, good and bad. Inside his closet, he had the ballet animals, polo buckles, Adidas, 8-ball jackets. He also sported a big-ass gold medallion, 2 4-finger rings, and a mouthful of golds. Black Boy was getting money like a motherfucker, and he didn't trust anybody with his stack but my Grandma Bertha. It's crazy how they had a picture floating when dudes just was talking about the Melf and the Magnolia beef. And my uncle, I got the picture in my phone. He got the big ass medallion, gold. He the blackest nigga on the picture. All them niggas out the Melf on the picture. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how God just be working, bro. Like I be seeing like spirit moving. In spite of all this stuff that's going on, I feel now it's time for me to tell my story vividly and let people really like hear it. And I always feel like I was before my time. And a lot of people didn't really get it. You feel me? But now I got their attention. It all makes sense. You know? So I'm just going with God flow, man. One day my Uncle Jerome got some nuts and stole from Black Boy. My little ass was caught in the middle since I saw Uncle Jerome put his move down. And I told Black Boy the business. After hearing me out, Black Boy slid over to Jerome's girlfriend's house and found her with red roses and champagne. Immediately a fight broke out. But since Uncle Jerome was fresh out the penitentiary and on swole, Black Boy couldn't do anything with him on the fighting side. So he grabbed his 9mm and started letting loose at his own brother in broad daylight. Luckily, Uncle Jerome got away without being hit. All of my family sided with Black Boy. We were just starting to adjust to our new environment and friends in Anolia when Daddy came home drunker than 10 wine heads. Thunderbird was his drink of choice. He and Mama fought that night, which had practically become routine, but this fight was different. Mama had always been faithful to my dad, and she really wasn't as complicated woman. She just wanted the old man to love her. The night passed and Pops woke up with his normal hangover and right on schedule was off to work at the Hilton. But this time when he returned from work, all of his things were thrown out on the Magnolia walkway. Mama had taken all that she would from my daddy and he moved back to Grandma Bertha's. With Mama now fending for herself, she got a job at some hotel making bays for minimum wage. She also received food stamps from welfare and WIC to help her feed my brother Travis and me. Eventually, Mama grew even closer with Miss Barbara, and she used to watch us while Mama was at work. When Mama's mind no longer focused on my daddy, she allowed the man named Ronald to fill that void in her life. A year after Mama and Ronald started dating, he moved in with us. By the time I was 7, Mama had my baby brother, Lil Ronald. Looking back now with children of my own and some experience with women who possessed all kinds of ulterior motives and unpredictable personalities, I could see how Daddy could have felt after Mama moved Ronald in with us. Then not even a good year later, gave birth to his son. But that never should have interfered with the relationship between him and his 2 sons. After that, I vowed to never allow anything that my children's mother and I may experience to affect the relationship between me and mine negatively. Nevertheless, Pops blew it permanently with my mama. The new man in Mama's life, Ronald, was a DJ and worked at a club called Rose Tavern. located in the back of town of the Calio projects. And he treated my mama like a queen. I had never seen her as happy. We loved mama so much at that age that a sense of appreciation flowed from Travis and me to Ronald for giving mama what only a dedicated male companion could. Not only that, but he was now helping her raise us full time. And keeping it 10 times 100%, we started having more fun with Ronald than we did with Daddy when he was around. Ronald used to take us to the riverfront all the time to swim and play in the sand. And it was also good that he had a car. Daddy didn't only not have a car, but he couldn't even drive. For some strange reason, Grandma Evelyn couldn't stand Ronald and preferred my daddy over him. But it was obvious to everybody else that through Ronald, happiness had entered into her daughter's life, a most important function that Pops failed to deliver on. So what's wrong with that picture? Maybe mine wasn't hallucinating about feeling like the black sheep after all, huh? A couple years later, my baby brother Lil Ronald was having a pool party in the Calio back of town with Big Ronald's other baby mama's son, who was younger than Lil Ronald, might I remind you. So with the tension thick in the air from the scenario, Mama and Big Ronald got into a fight. Mama hit Ronald pretty good with a box cutter, but also received a few licks of her own that sent them both to the charity hospital. After they stitched Ronald up, he was released into the custody of the New Orleans Police Department and charged with assault. After this incident, they officially broke up, and we were back in a single-parent household again. Man, I could actually, when I be reading my story, I can actually, vividly see everything that I'm talking about. I don't know how I remember these things, bro. But it seemed like I got an elephant memory when I got sober. So if anybody think about writing a book and they think it's hard, it's really not. If you transparent. Mind you, I was transparent, but I was skeptical of speaking about certain things, but I got a lot out. You know what I'm saying? That makes me want to do part 2 because there's a lot that I didn't let out. But it's pretty interesting to know where it all started and how it came and who I became and how I became who I became. You feel me? And that was the most important thing with me doing as far as writing my book, my documentary, and my movie. Getting my fans to understand why I started drugging, where it came from. See, to every reaction is an action. And a lot of people don't like to go back and let y'all see that part. But I'm in a stage in my life where I'm an open book. You know what I'm saying? My mama had hit that boy with that box cutter yeah. She wasn't scared to see blood. You feel me? I never knew for sure if mama knew Aaron before he went to jail. But after she had and Ronald broke up, we started visiting Aaron down at the jail on Tulane and Broad Street. Aaron was a hustler like my Uncle Black Boy. And when he was released, he moved in with us. Aaron bought us everything. And to me, he was the best stepdaddy ever. He had the same kind of toys and gear that Black Boy had, like the ballads, 8-ball jackets, 4-finger rings, and chains. Aaron also had a 98, white with the blue rag top. And he had a 2-tone Malibu. The only thing Aaron did different than Black Boy was he didn't sport the gold grill. I admire Aaron and consider him as my stepfather because he reminded me so much of my Uncle Black Boy, who I had always considered as my role model. I remember when I was young, and that nigga this is when I first started knowing what crack was. And I used to break in my mama door in her room when she be gone because I used to steal quarters out her little Kentwood bottle. It was a little big old Kentwood bottle thing where the water go in and you get your water. But she used one for a bank and had nothing but silvers, and I used to play cards, tunk and pity pack and shit. So I used to get a butter knife when she at work, breaking that bitch, you know what I'm saying? Push it back and going in the closet. I used to watch him put these little films, like what you put pictures rolls in. But I used to wonder why the mirror had little white crumbs on it. I was a observer, you know what I'm saying? So as I'm creeping through, I also used to get the gun. He had like a little 22. I used to get the gun and shoot it out the back window. You know what I'm saying? Just doing, I see some girls walking and shoot the gun. Pow, one shot. Not knowing that they counting the bullets, they busted me with that too. But, you know what I'm saying? I just shoot it out the back window. Pow! And scare the girls. So, bam. I used to steal his rocks. And I ain't know what rocks was. I used to take the rocks. And it was this dude named Nip. He used to be, to me, was like my big brother, because everybody thought he was my brother in the project. Me and him kind of like resembled each other. That nigga had a mouth full of goals. You know what I'm saying? That what really made me get my goals, because, you know, you be infatuated with that shit when you see niggas with dope, selling dope, and they got that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, bam. I used to steal the rocks and go sell them to Nip. But I ain't know I was getting big-ass flipper dimes. And that's why Nip was, that nigga was constantly getting me to get them rocks. Man, I'm constantly hitting my stepdaddy's stash. That nigga found out. He thought my mama was doing it. You feel me? Man, I was hitting that boy every time, going in there getting them flip. Man, Nip gave me $10, $20. You feel me? But I'm happy because I don't know what the fuck. It just looked like a piece of soap to me. You know what I'm saying? Shit, $10, $20, $30. I'm a young nigga. That's a lot. But I'm getting that boy plenty dope. Stealing it from my steppa. You feel me? But that nigga Ronald, man, that nigga had that work. You know what I'm saying? At the time, he was working for my homie Bruce daddy, who was a baller. The nigga was balling. He actually bought that 98 from Bruce daddy. You know what I'm saying? But that's another story too. All that gonna be in my second book. But Mama hit Ronald pretty good. I went to that. Alright, baby, I moved in with her. Aaron bought us everything. And to me, he was the best stepdaddy ever. He had the same kind of toys and gear that Black Boy had, like the ballads, 8-ball jackets, 4-finger rings, and chains. Aaron also had a 98. I know I read it, y'all, but I'm reading it again. White with the blue rag top. And he had a 2-tone Malibu. The only thing Aaron did different than Black Boy was he didn't sport the gold grill. I admire Aaron and consider him as my stepfather because he reminded me so much of my uncle Black Boy, who I always considered as my role model. In the late 80s, the turf war between the Melf and Magnolia projects had gotten so bad that the mayor of New Orleans had ordered the construction of a special neighborhood watch task force. The New Orleans Police Department had set up policing trailers smack dead in the middle of both projects, with officers on bikes, horses, on foot, and in patrol cars. This was the same day that I attended Tom LaFon Elementary, and since it was located in the middle of the nowhere, seeing somebody shot or killed was normal for my classmates and me. Shootouts between the two projects occurred so frequently that during lunchtime at school, we would just continue doing whatever we were doing without fear. Y'all see how these dudes that's talking about these shootouts and these shootings and these murders and all this stuff, there's a lot of shit that went on. I was a youngster. I got into a lot of shit. I won't discuss it. Them niggas got balls. Got statute of limitation on M charges. Do not die. It's forever. But I recall a lot of the things that I done heard and I done seen with everybody that's talking. That's why I feel like it's somewhere that my story gonna tie into everything that y'all hearing on YouTube. But mine is not the glorification. It's like the meat of coming up through all that nobody's not tapping into, because it take you to be a humble, transparent person to be able to speak about your upbringing without glorifying being a gangster. You know what I'm saying? What you was before you was this. That's why I'm taking y'all at. Before you see and know who I am, you got to know where I come from. And that's where people is missing the point, and I'm going to tap into that. And hopefully what I'm doing inspire other people, that people want to hear real shit too, man. You don't have to entertain them with this, and that, and this, and that, and get new indictments. A lot of us have grown up and became role models. It's the youth out there. A lot of people saying that they doing it for the youth, but you can't do it for the youth and act like the youth. The youth is out looking. They looking for role models. They looking for, okay, I did this. I'm not glorifying this. And really live by not glorifying that. Because they got to know the difference. Where it started at. This what led me to this. But look at me now. You feel me? Shootouts between the two projects occurred so frequently that during lunchtime at school, we would just continue doing whatever we were doing without fear. On this particular day, this lack of fear made it easy for me to go check out a DJ in our hood. A DJ is what we call a block party. Although I knew I had no business going, I went on the new side of the Noya in the 6th Street Circle, which was one of the most dangerous sections. Shots rang out. I had already snuck over there because my mom ain't used to want me on the new side. It was bad. Them guys that's telling them stories, they older than me. I seen a lot of this shit going on. You know, although I knew I had no business going, I went on the new side of the Noya in the 6th Street Circle, which was one of the most dangerous sections. Shots rang out. I had already snuck over there, and now I was in the middle of the chaos created by the gunfire. As I tried to run, some fat woman ran straight over me, trying to move her children out of the path of the gunman. When the shooting stopped, I tried to hurry back to the old side before my mama started calling my name like she always did before hearing shots anywhere near. As I rushed home, this stinging feeling throbbed in my left leg, by my knee. The sight of blood and the intense burning in my leg made me panic. I thought I was going to die. Yeah, I had been hit, but luckily I was only grazed. Grandpa Johnny put peroxide on it and patched me up like it was nothing. But I still was loving all the attention from everybody, thinking I had been shot up. And you already know I played right on to it. Now the first time I ever saw somebody shot, I was 8 years old. The victim, a boy named Bobby. And I had just had a minor altercation 1 week before. Bobby was 7 years older than I was. And I don't know how I let him talk me into letting him use my brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Nintendo cartridge that my mom had just bought for my little brother and me. But he did. Every time I asked Bobby to return it, he would just spin me. I even ran down on him with a bottle in my hand and threatened to bust his shit. But he just snatched the bottle out of my hand and walked away, paying me no mind. Then as a last resort, I threatened Bobby with telling my mama. And for some reason, he swiftly returned my cartridge. You know when a nigga young and they be like, I'm going to tell my mama on you. My mama had a loud ass mouth. Nobody want to play with Miss Pam. You feel me? A week later, while inside playing with my Nintendo, we heard what sounded like 1,000 gunshots on the side of our house. When the smoke cleared, Bobby was laying there fighting for his life. 17 holes filled his body. He fought all the way to Charity Hospital, but later on he died. The next morning on the way to school, I stopped by the scene where he was shot up. Several bullet holes was embedded in the side of the project brick wall. Someone must have forgotten to hose the sidewalk down Bobby's blood still stained the ground. Bobby had got killed by mistaken identity too. The war was so intense. Mouth Callio. Innocent people getting hit. He got hit riding the bike, going through the cut, about to go by his sister. Nigga thought he was somebody else. By his head shape. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't talk about a lot of this stuff. You know. But he got hit up 17 times. That was my first time seeing somebody hit up like that. I can still see it. You feel me? These pictures are vivid. You know what I'm saying? All that day while at school, I thought about Bobby taking my game. And now he was dead. Although Bobby had taken advantage of me, I never wanted anything bad to happen to him. Nor did I ever imagine that he'd end up dead from 17 shots. The Nolia was something serious. And only the strong survive. Real talk. You had to always outthink your opponent and stay about 20 steps ahead. The Autothuggography of Turk book is one of those ones where you go deep in my life around all this stuff that y'all hearing on social media that they probably not going to talk about. For some strange reason, I believe people think being transparent and being real make them seem soft. But I found strength in that. I found strength in telling the truth, not hating. I found strength in that. Like I found strength and I see how more people are changing their life because of my transparency. Not getting excited about glorifying a lifestyle that I'm no longer living like some people does or doing. It ain't about that. It's about changing the youth, telling these stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not the glorifying, man. That's not going to create a change. Make me think about my little brother. I couldn't save him. I was in prison. My little brother wound up getting killed. He wanted to be like me. And nigga killed my little brother across the river. Lerano. I said his name, and then my little brother got killed when I was in prison. See, that's why I got to write my second book. And because there's more to it. My grown up days, a lot of things happened while I was in prison that I'm gonna talk about. The Autothuggography Part 2. You know, my story, your story is your testimony. Don't let nobody turn your testimony to a messimony. Your testimony is what God wants us to use to help other people overcome. You know what I'm saying? Don't fabricate it, man. You feel me? Like that's something that I won't do. Fabricate a lie to make me seem like I'm this, I'm that. Nah. If you want to get the Autothuggography of Turk, man, like I say, you could go get it on lulu.com. Search the Autothuggography of Turk. You can get it directly from me, $40 with a signed autograph copy of it. Follow me on Instagram, Original Hot Boy Turk. And stay tuned in, man, to story time. My life. As we get deeper into the book. I'm just going to give you enough to where you can like see it. And you can understand certain things that you are hearing. from a person who really was there but made it out of there and chose a different walk of life. I could have chose this life and that life could have took me under, but the rap life changed my life and gave me a way out. I thought football was going to be it. I could talk about that in my book. The drugs. I get into the drugs. Me playing football. Me starting to rap. Like all that. Y'all just stay tuned. We going to get into it. Make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel, Original Hot Boy Turk. Make sure y'all hit that like. Make sure y'all drop a comment and tell me what y'all think. Till next time on Story Time. Telling the truth, not hate. Telling lies is clout chasing. You dig.